Okay. While I'm doing it, you guys have any questions?
Do you ever have to like take it back to the hot water to finish out?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so he asked if I take it back to the water. Sometimes if you you go and you dunk it and you start it and it's not coming out, go do it again and it'll be fine. Yeah. But you'll know the second, when you go like this and it comes right off, that's how you want it. Now I'm doing this just so you guys don't have to sit. I would clean it a little bit better so I got some of the feathers off of it. But I want you guys, if you can, some of you come around here because I want to show you something. This is the first thing my Amish guy taught me when I did this. And I told him the other day, he's like, really? I said, I do these all the time. And I tell everybody about my Amish friend Noah, who taught me how to butcher a chicken. Because he said, he goes, are you going to teach him about the oil can? And I said, yeah, I tell him about the oil can all the time. So if you guys can see back here, see their little tail? Do you see this little thing right here? Right here?
Yeah.
There's like a little bitty hole here. They call it the oil can. Because that's when the chicken goes back there to prune their feathers, to get that oil in them. And that's the oil can. So I'm going to cut that out. Okay? And that's why when you're plucking, you see I didn't have to pluck this because I'm going to cut this off. So that's one less thing I have to do. That's why I left the feathers on. Okay? So, what you're going to do is can you guys see her bones are right here? They're right here, and you can feel them. All I'm going to do is with my knife, and it's so crucial to have a sharp knife. You will be so frustrated, and you will not like butchering chickens if you don't have a sharp knife. And Jeremy, the rabbit guy, he's over there, he's got these really nice knives. So if you want to get your knife, you can. But always have a sharp knife, or make sure you sharpen your knife before you butcher. Okay? All right, so I'm just going to cut around here. So then what I do is I turn the little guy around. And then do you see underneath here where this is? I'm going to do a little slice there. So I grab this and I'm just going to give it a little slice. See how I did that? I kind of opened it up. See how that's opened up?
Oh, we haven't even started yet.
And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around. Can you guys see that? I'm going to cut all the way around up to that oil can. Okay? That's going to be effort.
I feel like I would have gotten rid of the neck and legs by now, so I don't have to look at it. What? You need the handles.
All right, so right here, right now, all the innards are wanting to come out. Can you guys kind of see that?
Oh, yeah.
See how they're ready to fall out? So then all you're going to do is you're going to reach in, and I reach in, it's nice and warm. The one thing, this is crazy, like if I butcher in the winter and it's cold, this is the part that's like, oh, my hands are going to feel better. So then you just reach in, you want to reach in as far as you can go, because you know up here you got your lungs and all that, you have part of their esophagus, so in their crop, so you're going to reach in there and you're going to go ahead and pull it out. Like here, we have 2 kidneys, these are little kidneys. These are, you can eat kidneys. And then, we have the liver, which is your wonderful filtering organ. Now here, a lot of these chickens, like if you have a sick chicken, the liver might look kind of bad. It might look green or kind of crazy looking. So here's the liver. All right. So here.
Did not eat the chicken at all.
Well, I've done hundreds of chickens. One time I had the bubble thing, which was kind of weird looking, and I didn't eat it. But I've eaten everything else. Yeah. All right. So in your liver, there's something called your gallbladder. It's this little sac. See it right here. And basically, on us, the gallbladder is kind of like the dish detergent that helps break down fats. So there's bile in there, and it's this green stuff. So just be careful. If you cut that, all that green stuff will go everywhere, and you don't want that. So just be careful when you're cutting that out. Okay. So I deliberately, you can be pretty good at getting it, but I kept a big chunk of the liver on it. But just make sure that you get the gallbladder out. All right.
I have a really weird question. Have you ever done one that had like an egg inside?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing. So the Amish, they will raise chickens, like the Isaac Browns or Highline Brown, a lot of the different birds. And they get them and they keep them just a year. So let's say they'll have 20 or 30 birds and they'll keep them about a year or so. And then what they do is they butcher them. So they're not going to keep them through the winter. They butcher them and they'll use them for broth or whatever they're going to do. So what they do is, I was helping them the one day where they had 50 chickens. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're butchering them. And all of a sudden I'm looking inside, because when you have a chicken, so they have a vent back here, and through the vent, they go to the bathroom, and on one side there's like a divider, then they lay an egg on the other. So what it is the eggs are like in an assembly line. So down here, if you cut up on a chicken, and all of these chickens, they were taking eggs out. By the end, they had a whole bowl of eggs from all the chickens that we had butchered because they are laying eggs. So what happens was, right at the bottom, like the egg that they were going to lay that day or maybe next morning, there was a totally formed egg here. And then the next one was like a softer one. And then it kept going up, up, up. And then there was hundreds of little teeny tiny ones. It was crazy. It was actually kind of cool. But yes, wow, you can do that, yeah. So if you're going to butcher a bunch of chickens that are of egg-laying age and they're ready to go, they'll have eggs in there. So it's just all the way up inside of them. Yep.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep. But if you do the fryers, you're never going to see that. But if you do like a chicken that's ready, that will happen. Okay, so the other thing is they have the crop up here where they eat the food. After, when it gets digested, it goes down in this thing called the gizzard. And a lot of you guys might have had fried gizzards, And if you guys know, this is my favorite part of butchering, is the gizzard. So you just cut it in half. Now as you can see, do you see all that digested stuff in there? So that's just all the food. You're just going to get rid of all that. And then it has this kind of really thick, leathery skin on it. So what I try to do is you want to get your fingernails underneath it. And you want to kind of separate that yellow skin from the gizzard itself, because you don't want to eat that part. All right? And then while I'm doing this, the liver, here's the heart too. The heart was at the top. See the heart? There's the heart. You can eat that too.
Is the gallbladder actually attached to the liver, so when you pull it out,
everything comes out together?
It's attached.
All right, so your goal is to try to make sure you can get the whole thing off without breaking it. That's like my little game I play with myself. You got to amuse yourself when you're butchering a bunch of them. Can I get it? When I was a little girl, my grandma used to get an apple and she could peel it and make the swirly thing all the way around without breaking it. So now when I do my apples, I try to do that too. Oh, darn. I didn't do it. Oh, shoot. I'm usually pretty good at it. I didn't dunk the chicken when I was supposed to, and I broke my gizzard. The day can only get better, right?
Yeah. I think you're a little entitled to be tired.
If this is the worst thing that happens, they say, see, it's
I know.
I'd rather see a seminar where little things like that happen for real life than see one go perfectly, and then when you do it, it's
All right, so here's your your gizzard. So for you guys, you can cut them in pieces, put some breading on it with some seasoning, and fry them up. It's very healthy for you. Okay? So generally, what I do is I have a pan here with some water, and so my stuff like this, like my liver, my heart, you know, my gizzards, I'll throw them in the pan, and then I can rinse my hands off. I should have a. Can you bring me a bucket of water and just set it up on the table? Thank you. Okay. So now, you have the neck. So a lot of people like the neck. You can cut the neck off here and then you can go ahead and cook it if you want to. My dog loves this. This is what she gets. This is her little treat. So you're gonna cut it. Normally, Jody, I use the loppers. I don't have my loppers, so I'll use my knife. I think it'll work. That's why it's good to have good tools. So if I had the lopper, I'd just go chop it and it would come right off. And then if you are going to use a knife, you need to make sure you break it between like the vertebrae and the neck so that you can cut it off.
So there's nothing to be careful of right there.
No.
Use that neck for bone broth.
Sure. Yeah.
Or what?
The dog gets it or a bone broth. Yeah. Okay, so then next you have the feet. As you can see, the feet, there's a yellowy part that attaches right here at the bottom. So you got to make sure that you find the knuckle here, and then you're going to cut it. So generally, when I hold it like this, I'll bring it down so I have a little tension, and then I'll go ahead and cut it like that, and then I can break it, and then I can cut it more. Okay?
What are some good uses for the feet?
Bone broth.
Bone broth.
Yeah, bone broth is amazing. It's wonderful. The gel, yeah, it's so wonderful for you. Or I dehydrate them. You can boil them and kind of get the skin off of them, and you can dehydrate them. They're great dog treats. Okay, so now I'll rinse this guy off a little bit. So it's good to have your water around. I have my bucket, so once they're kind of cleaned out, I'm going to rinse them a little bit. So I have my first rinse bucket. And then also you want to make sure, like up here, I still have some stuff. I'm going to pull some of that stuff out. The train's loud, isn't it? So remember when I was talking about the crop? It's a little sack that's right up in here. And if you do have a chicken that did have some food, make sure you check and see that it's not full. Okay? I took it out, but just make sure. So I got all my little feathers off, the best I got right now. I gave it a little quick bath. And then, can you bring me the one bucket over there with the water? Then usually what I'll do is I'll just let it set in there. Now I'm doing this outside. I got cats, I got dogs, I got animals running around all the time. Make sure, you keep it covered up because they'll be jumping up on there, doing their stuff. So I always make sure I cover it. So let's say I just got finished. I'm going to put them in the water to sit a little bit. I'll put a lid on it, and then I'll go ahead and kind of clean up all my stuff. And then I'll go ahead and take my chicken and put it in my cooler with my salt, probably a couple cups of salt, and just let it set for a day. And then I'll eat it, or I'll go ahead and put it in the freezer, or whatever you want to do. So you can cook it or can it or whatever. Okay?
If you're going to cut it up, do you do that before you put it in the salt bath, or do you do it after, or does it matter?
No, I would do it after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So when you put it in your cooler with the salt, we don't have any water in there. It's just the chicken and the salt.
No, and water.
And
Salt water.
okay.
Yeah, you're going to put it in a brine. Basically, you're brining your chicken.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.